Welcome to this presentation on model-based systems engineering, using Enterprise Architect and the Sparx modeling platform. You will learn about some of the tools and facilities available to the systems engineer to create and manage models of complex engineering systems. You develop the models collaboratively, and all engineering roles including managers, requirements analysts, architects, designers and verification analysts can all contribute and view an interlocking set of models. Enterprise Architect implements the systems modeling language (sysml), and in addition provides a formidable set of tools for specifying, analyzing, designing and documenting complex engineering systems. In this presentation we will cover the following topics. Create the full suite of sysml diagrams. Visualize with dashboards, charts, images and more. View models in action with simulations and parametrics. Work together with collaboration and teams. Communicate and integrate with model exchange and publications. Create the full suite of sysml diagrams and more. In this topic, you will learn how to create all of the sysml diagrams from requirements to parametrics with powerful productivity features. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including express complex ideas using the 9 sysml diagrams. Bring the diagrams to life with extended features. Contextualize the elements with visibility settings. Use styles to change diagrams' appearance. And more. With Enterprise Architect, teams can create precise and expressive models of complex engineering systems. These models replace the traditional document-centric methods, and high-quality engineering documents can be generated directly from the tool. The modeling approach is based on proven standards such as the systems modeling language, and includes tools for all engineering disciplines, including requirements engineering. The models can be searched, multiple views can be created, dynamic charts can be generated and powerful simulations of parametric, activity and state machine diagrams can be visualized. Get off to a flying start by using a rich set of model patterns that you can automatically inject into your models. There is a pattern to create a project structure, and other patterns for all of the sysml diagram types. This is a productivity feature that will not only save you time, but help you with canvas fright, and make sure your models comply with industry standards and best practice principles. Each pattern has a documentation page that describes the structure of the pattern, including folders and diagrams and how to use the pattern, with next steps and help topics. Create any of the 9 sysml diagrams either directly, or from model patterns. Use layout, filter, layer and style tools, and include images to make your diagrams more appealing to a range of business and technical stakeholders, including hand-drawn and whiteboard styles. You can include the diagrams in documentation, and complement these standard diagrams with other types such as strategy, roadmaps, mind maps and kanban diagrams. Set the system context in a concise and descriptive diagram that creates an overview of the system and its environment, including in this example, weather and road conditions. Add images to create a compelling story that will make the diagram more appealing to stakeholders, who may be unfamiliar with the system's modeling language. Verify requirements with test cases by connecting them with a verify relationship on a diagram. The diagram can be viewed in the desktop tool or if you are using the Pro Cloud server, in a browser window, or they can be incorporated into high-quality documentation. View these same relationships in the traceability window, or an element matrix, to identify requirements that are not satisfied by any test cases. Create precise block definition diagrams to describe the important structural elements or blocks and use them to define the subsystem hierarchy and constraints. Use relationships to connect these structural elements to behaviors and view these connections in a range of tools such as the traceability window, and element matrices. Add images and styles to make the diagram more compelling, and use filters and layers to simplify aspects of the diagram. Define the user's goals with use cases in clear and concise diagrams that describe the value a user will derive from the system. Structure this use case model by locating reusable chunks of value, and connecting them to the base use case with an include relationship. Extend a base use case's behavior by introducing the extend relationship, and specialize both actors and use cases with the generalization relationship. You can define use cases for an entire system, or part of a system such as a subsystem or a block. Simplify scenario steps using the powerful scenario editor, alternate and exception paths, descriptions and pre- and post conditions, and then generate high-quality use case documentation directly from the model. Automatically convert the scenarios into behavior diagrams including state and activity diagrams, and synchronize them when the scenario steps change. You can also generate test cases and test suites from the scenarios and their steps. Represent behavior using actions to segregate function from form, and create a mapping between behavior and structure that exposes the seams that relate these two integral parts of architecture and design. Use action pins, activity parameters, object flows, and other diagram syntax to create expressive models that can be simulated. Understand object interactions, using sequence diagrams that use lifelines and messages to describe the way system objects interact. Show alternate, conditional, looping and other behavior using combined fragments, and drill down to the underlying sequence diagrams. Create synchronous and asynchronous messages, and show lifetime events, such as when objects are created or destroyed. Model the important changes in state that parts of the system undergo during their lifetime, and model the transitions from one state to another. Use colors and line styles to create expressive diagrams and add triggers, guards, and actions to further qualify and express the state changes. Generate programming code directly from the models, and run simple or executable simulations to visualize the changes in state. View a state machine diagram as a table by simply switching views. Use this alternate representation for stakeholders who are more comfortable with a tabular spreadsheet view. Choose from a variety of representations and toggle between these views to gain an understanding of the state machine and the behavior of the represented entity. Change colors, cell sizes, highlights and more, using the Options window. Structure a model with packages to create a well-organized knowledge repository that facilitates element and diagram creation and navigation. Drill down from the package level, to the elements contained in each package, or use flexible and extended features to show the content of each package directly in a diagram. View what makes up a block using internal block diagrams, to show how the parts and properties are related using connectors and ports. Launch these diagrams directly from a hyperlink on the owning block. Use layout options styles, filters, layers, and other diagram features to make the diagrams more compelling. Visualize with dashboards, charts and images. In this topic, you will learn how to create web-based dashboards, charts, matrices and roadmaps and include images to create compelling diagrams. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including: get real-time views of systems information, engage stakeholders with compelling visualizations, create tailored stakeholder dashboards and diagrams, bring diagrams to life with images, and more. Visualize requirement statuses and other properties using dashboard diagrams. Get insights into your repository content, and present valuable information to project managers and product owners. You can use a range of charts and graphs to present any repository information, and select style and color options to make the dashboards more appealing. Visualize repository information using powerful Prolaborate dashboards that contain a range of widgets, charts and graphs. Include any repository information and drill down to lower-level charts and to the underlying elements that represent the data. Create sunburst, bubble, pie and bar charts, and more to provide these insights into the repository and its models. Appeal to a wider audience with images that will make your diagrams more compelling, and engage both business and system stakeholders, including managers and executives. Use the library of built-in images or create your own library, with industry and project-specific raster or vector-based graphics. Apply these as alternate representations on selected diagrams, or just use them for high-level diagrams that will be included on presentations. Relate otherwise disconnected ideas, by creating diagrams that display elements from different disciplines. Also, use raster or vector images to add appeal for non-technical stakeholders. Relate strategic modeling elements to requirements, and in turn relate these to behavioral and structural elements such as activities and blocks, thus creating a traversable graph of elements and their connections. Visualize and analyze these connections in tools such as the gap, element, and feature matrices, and discover isolated elements and features that are not connected to other elements. Switch to a spreadsheet or document view of items like requirements, blocks, activities, test cases, or any elements used in a specification or design. Gain productivity from team members who prefer to work in these more familiar business views. Visualize package, element, or diagram objects in the specification manager, and edit their properties inline within the sheet or document view. You can also tailor the view by adding or removing system or user-defined properties. Plan the future using roadmap diagrams, created as an overlay superimposed over existing diagrams. Use diagram legends to show phases or other dimensions of an element's lifetime, and tailor the roadmap by setting timescales, colors, styles, and other properties. Include the diagram in documentation, or present them in web views with the Pro Cloud server and enable discussions to gain feedback, comments, and suggestions. Understand connectivity and gaps in your models by using matrices to visualize the relationship between source and target elements or features. Locate scope creep, gaps, and unimplemented requirements by viewing the colored matrix bands. Visualize any element's connections, including drivers, goals, user stories, use cases, test cases, risks, and more. Include the matrix in web pages and publications as an alternative view for non-technical stakeholders, or export it to a spreadsheet or save it for future reference. View models in action with simulations and parametric diagrams. In this topic, you will learn how to run simulations of parametric, activity and state machine diagrams and decision models with multiple data sets. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including simulate state, activity, parametric and decision models. Gain powerful insights with maths and simulation tools. Access thousands of complex maths functions. Show calculation results in dynamic charts. And more. You can model systems of equations using parametric diagrams, and constraint blocks can define an objective function used to compare alternative solutions. You can specify a network of constraints that represent mathematical expressions such as f equals ma and a equals dv, dt, to show how the physical properties of a system are constrained. Create industry-compliant models of cyber-mechanical systems using sysml as the language of representation. Communicate with colleagues, collaborating engineers, teams of consultants, and others, using the sysml diagrams and Enterprise Architect's powerful team platform. Use the models to generate compelling visualizations using industry-standard modeling languages and open modelica and matlab Simulink. Bring your behavioral models to life with instant real-time behavioral model execution and simulations. Use tools to manage triggers, events, guards, effects, breakpoints, and simulation variables and visually track execution at runtime. You can use the simulator to watch the wheels turning, and verify the correctness of your behavioral models. Use executable state machines to rapidly generate, execute, and simulate complex state models. In contrast to dynamic simulation, they offer a complete language-specific implementation that can form the behavioral engine for multiple software products on multiple platforms. Perform what-if analysis with decision simulations that bring decision model and notation diagrams to life. Link these diagrams to activity, use case, and other sysml diagrams to define and understand the important decisions that are part of the problem or solution space. Specify any number of your own data sets and run simulations to see the resulting decisions, and visualize the steps in the decision-making process with annotations that indicate why a choice was made. Create models that describe complex cyber-mechanical engineering systems with subcomponents from various domains, including mechanical, electrical, electronic, hydraulic, thermal, control, electric power, and process-oriented domains. Create expressive parametric models in Enterprise Architect and then harness the power of Open Modelica and the Modelica language to generate visualizations of the models. Link these engineering diagrams to other system and software artifacts, including missions, stakeholder requirements, state machines, programming code, decision tables, architectures, trade-off analysis, and test cases. Use the powerful MATLAB solvers to incorporate complex mathematics into your model-based simulations. Utilize Enterprise Architect's JavaScript engine and integrate with a MATLAB interpreter to use available general and complex functions. You can use the solver console to create, check and maintain calls used in simulations and code written using JavaScript. You can also use the Physical Interaction and Signal Flow Standard (SysFIS) that provides a more straightforward model-based method of sharing simulations, defining variables, constants, and initial values within each element rather than through a configuration file. Use the powerful Octave solvers to incorporate complex mathematics into your model-based simulations. Utilize Enterprise Architect's JavaScript engine and integrate with an Octave interpreter to use available Octave functions. Octave provides an alternative to MATLAB functions, with a particular emphasis on sequences and matrices. You can use the solver console to create, check and maintain calls used in simulation calls and scripts written using JavaScript. Create expressive engineering models using block and parametric diagrams. Use the powerful Cephas math library to solve equations described in the diagrams and then present the results using the frequently updated, built-in JavaScript engine. Instantly visualize simulations by creating powerful representations of the results using the dynamic chart library. Utilize the simplified API to edit underlying JavaScript code for behavioral models. Work together with collaboration and teams. In this topic, you will learn how to collaborate with team members anywhere in the world using chat, discussions, comments, reviews and core features such as security. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including work with colleagues and customers anywhere in the world. Chat and discuss projects, models and ideas. Review each other's work and give real-time feedback. Rest easy as security and integrations protect your models. And more. Increase productivity with collaboration features that bring colleagues, customers, and consultants together and keeps them focused on product or service delivery. Keep everyone singing from the same page and in real time. Chat, discuss and review elements, changes, ideas, and diagrams with distributed team members, and other stakeholders. Watch as the system models evolve organically with input from a range of disciplines and with a history of why the changes were implemented. Check for high-quality requirements, architectures, specifications, designs, and more, using the editable checklist. Drive quality and standardization by creating team or project checklists and apply them to any element, including packages and diagrams, to indicate they comply with the checks specified in the list. Ensure you are on track with reviews of important, or critical parts of your model. Invite colleagues or others, like customers and consultants, to review model content such as specifications. Conduct reviews inside the desktop tool, or in a web browser by using the powerful collaboration features of the Pro Cloud Server. Access resources in the team library and ensure that your whole team is singing from the same song sheet. View imported documents including specifications and guidelines, or link to external documents or web pages such as specifications and standards, contained in contact management systems, including SharePoint and Google Drive. Place the library items on diagrams, and link other elements to them, to indicate compliance or usage. Keep in touch with chat, and get instant answers and advice from other model users. Reach out to your modeling colleagues, no matter where they are in the world, or use discussions to communicate with users who are currently offline. See who's available, and chat with individuals or groups, and set the notification refresh time to ensure you don't miss a message. Discover what's changed using the powerful comparison feature of the baseline utility. Create any number of baselines for any model package, and then as your model evolves compare it to one or more baselines of the same package. Revert each change or an entire package to the content in the baseline, and set options to suppress changes such as diagram and date changes. Instantly switch any diagram to hand-drawn or whiteboard mode to engage stakeholders, by creating a sense that the diagram has not yet been resolved, and requires input or comments before starting development or implementation. Rest easy knowing that security is protecting your repository. Use security to drive many features such as package locking, perspectives, collaboration, workflow, ribbon sets, and more. Integrate with Active Directory and OpenID at a group or user level, and set permissions to control users or groups' access to tool features. Lock parts of the model to specific users and groups, and using some backend databases completely hide some packages from view for specified users or groups. Communicate and integrate with Model Exchange and publications. In this topic, you will learn how to create corporate publications and exchange content with other tools like Excel, DOORS-NG and SharePoint. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including view models in real time through a web browser, publish high-quality corporate documents, integrate with more than 30 other tools, exchange data with spreadsheets and documents, and more. Generate high-quality corporate engineering documents directly from the model. Use a range of document generation techniques with flexible system or user-defined templates. Completely customize the documents, to comply with corporate or customer standards including styles and logos. Generate these for publication in a range of formats such as docx and PDF. Exchange requirements and more, using the JAS connector to connect to your Enterprise Architect models with IBM Rational DOORS Next Generation, Rhapsody Design Management, Team Concert Change and Configuration Management, and Quality Manager. Push and pull elements such as requirements and view their details and properties inside Enterprise Architect. You can link elements and create relationships to upstream artifacts such as stakeholders, goals, objectives and drivers, and downstream elements such as use cases and components. Exchange items with spreadsheets, by creating flexible specifications that define the type of elements and properties you want to be imported or exported. Exchange elements with any other tool that supports the use of comma-separated CSV files. Export and import elements such as requirements and activities including their properties such as status, priority, author and more. Manage requirements, user stories, use cases, and more, with agile Kanban diagrams to increase speed to market, and customer value. As a product owner, triage and manage backlogs and effortlessly move items between lanes and boards. Your whole team can work productively by choosing items from the board and recording their progress on an item. You can use pre-configured boards using patterns, or define your project or personal boards and lanes, including colors, work-in-progress limits, and which properties to display. Gain productivity, with reusable assets stored in a cloud-based reusable asset service. At Project Closeout, store and catalog your valuable model elements as reusable items in a registered model, hosted on the Pro Cloud server. Check and resolve dependencies between registered items ensuring that the fragments you download for reuse are complete. In this presentation we have covered the following topics. Create the full suite of sysml diagrams. Visualize with dashboards, charts, images and more. View models in action with simulations and parametrics. Work together with collaboration and teams. Communicate and integrate with Model Exchange and publications.